It's time once again to go racing.
The pressure is really on now.
And it's pole position.
And it's pedal to the metal, go, go, go!
Good evening, everybody, and welcome along to PSGL and to the 11th round of Season 29 on the PlayStation platform. This is the top tier, and we're back after our break week. And we hope all the drivers are refreshed and raring to go for the final 5 rounds of the season. We are at Suzuka here tonight for the Japanese Grand Prix. Now, as you can probably tell, we got some change to the normal commentary lineup tonight for F1, as Luke Etheridge and Mark Alimonda are unable to make it. You got myself in the commentary box from the F2 tier, Jess Bull, and joining me in the commentary box is someone who could definitely drive this track better than I can on the F1 games, and he's also a PSGL legend. It is, of course, Cam Anderson. Cam, how you doing?
Very well, thank you very much. I'm surprised to be here. 2 weeks in a row I've got the call up for F1. Mark, etc. aren't able to be here tonight, but we're here at Japan, Suzuka, a driver's favourite circuit. A lot of people, it's up their top 3 at least, with the quick, the flowing circuit, Sector 1 especially. And after Canada last week, I mean, it's really starting to kick off. It's getting to the tail end of the season, 5 rounds to go. And I'm saying there's still at least 3 drivers that could win this championship.
Yeah, definitely. We'll go through the standings in just a moment, but we'll talk you through what happened 2 weeks ago. It feels like a long time ago, but it actually wasn't. It was Benjamin that took his first win in the top tier, his first win in PSGL since season 27, and he looked very consistent in qualifying and in the race. He got pole position last week over Leah in a qualifying, which ended with a sprinkle of rain. That meant it was important for the drivers getting their laps in nice and early. And he also had the net lead for pretty much the whole race and was able to do the 1 stop around Canada too. We weren't expecting for it to be more viable than a 2 stop, but the safety car definitely did help. It was around about 26 laps. They managed to get the mediums around the track, which was crazy. But it was great to see Benjamin really come alive around Canada. And he finished quite well in Japan last season as well, finishing on the podium. So out of all the drivers on this grid, he's definitely looking favourite to win the race tonight.
As on Benjamin tonight, last week he made his own race, to be honest. As soon as that safety car came in, he got the gap. He got a few cars between him and Blizzard, etc., and then kind of went away from then. Keen eye as well on Juice tonight, Duncan and Blizzard, who are all the top 3 in the championship. Duncan last time out only getting 5th after opting for the 2 stop, and safety car really didn't help him out in the end. Juice got 3rd place and Blizzard in 2nd round Canada, so all eyes on them tonight.
Yes, everybody needs a good result in order to close up to Juice and increase the gap on the rest of the rivals. So what does that do with the championship standings? So VSR Juice leads the championship on 106 points, and an interesting stat about Juice is that he has the most points out of anyone after 10 rounds since Louis in season 24. Now, we do remember Louis had 7 wins between round 1 and round 10, which I have to say is quite crazy back then. But with the new game, Juice having 4 wins this season, with only finishing outside of the points once, which was at the beginning of the season. And what they both have in common is consistency. And I'm sure every other driver is looking for consistency as well. We have Duncan, obviously, who only finished in 5th place last week due to the 2-stop strategy for him, is in 2nd on 80 points. Blizzard is 3rd on 76. We've got VSR Jordan 4th on 44. Sam Corby is 5th with 35. We've got TF10 Leo in 31 points. George in 7th on 30, joint with Midnight. And we got 9th, we got Benjamin, obviously won last week on 29. And we got Danico on 28 points. And it's looking quite similar in the constructors as well. Juice leading the drivers and his team leading the constructors as well on 120 points. AlphaTauri second on 107. Mercedes third on 106. McLaren fourth on 69 points. Fifth is Williams, 55. Alpine, 6th, 49. 7th, Ferrari with 42. 8th, Alfa Romeo on 40. Haas, 9th on 38. And Aston Martin on 11 points. And I'm sure Aston Martin will definitely want a better result this week after their poor showing at the moment. So, without further ado, less blabbling on about the standings or whatnot. We're going to go straight into this qualifying session, and we're starting to see lap times on the board here at this moment in time. And looking at the lap times from what we've seen in the practice, we are expecting mid to low 127s and possibly into the 126s potentially as well here tonight as well. In F2, pole time was a 127.4, so expect lap time to be a lot quicker than that tonight if they want to get pole position.
I'm on board with Juice at the moment, coming around the final corner. Your championship leader so far, Blizzard, that's not a representative time. I was on board with him, drifted through the whole of Sector 1. But there goes Juice, provisional pole position with 27.888. Expecting them to get at least half a second quicker when the track kind of ramps up. On board with Jordan now, who's coming into the last sector, while Benjamin, last time race winner, has gone into second place.
Wow, what a lap. 128.000. I have to say, I haven't seen that on this game in quite a long time. Anyway, Jordan's coming across the line now to set his lap time past the Casio triangle then, and he goes in at 2 P6 128.1. So, interesting fact about the track, Suzuka has been on the F1 calendar since 1987. It's known for its most figure of 8 layout in sector 1 and of course 1/3 TR. And what makes it a unique track, only one DRS straight, which is just after the Casio triangle, which means there's less overtaking opportunities here tonight. And I have been saying in my PSGL streams this season is that qualifying is important. I have to say qualifying is just important around here because there's not many spots to overtake on.
You kind of look at the track on paper and you think like it does promote overtaking opportunities, but I mean, without DRS going towards 130R, I mean, it is a struggle to kind of overtake, and a lot of drivers are running very, very thin on the downforce, as thin as you can get while going through Sector 1 as well. So it's not going to be easy. On board with Aston Martin at the moment, of TTG Micah, currently invalid on his lap time. Everyone's kind of on a cool-down lap now. No one really going for it as they come into the pits before their second efforts.
Yeah, we've already seen in the other tiers tonight that people weren't able to hook their final laps right, and the majority of the banker laps that they set halfway through the session was definitely the ones that were for pole position. So I think if people mess up now, then it's really going to cost them going into the race. Chiquita is going past 130 up into the Casio triangle now as well, looking good in sector 2. Let's see what his sector 3 is like at the moment. Currently sitting 19th at the moment. He is on the soft compounded tyre. What can he do? 128.1 puts him in P10, and that's not where you want to be if you want to go on the alternate strategy. As we've seen in the past in F1, the alternate strategy could work in your favour around here, but the most important thing I'll have to say about this track as well is the undercut is quite powerful. 21 seconds you lose in the pit lane, and sometimes just getting that clean air and pitting a lap before anybody else may make the difference between winning or losing a race tonight. And I think everybody is just going into the pit. So that's everyone that's done their first few laps, and hopefully we get to see some quicker lap times very, very soon.
Yeah, like you said then, the undercut is very, very powerful. And not only is it powerful because you want to gain that track position, but you really don't want to be following a car around here. Sector 1 really does punish the tyres and a lot of front scrubbing. So if you're at the front of the pack, you've kind of got the benefit of clean air in front of you, and that's only going to be a good thing. So at the moment we've got Juice at the top of the times, Duncan in 5th, who is our championship leader. Sorry.
Second place.
Second place, yeah, sorry. And then we have Blizzard, who I've been keeping an eye on, who's gone out already. He hasn't set a lap time so far, so very keen to get one on the board. I mean, he has set one, not a competitive one. He's keen to get a time on the board now, a representative one, and hopefully fly up the table.
Yes, currently sitting third in the championship standings. He finished second last week in Canada, well, a couple of weeks ago, and closed in on VSR Duncan in the standings. Quite a bit, actually. So if you can continue that form, you'll be able to challenge Juice in the championship. He finished not the best in Japan last time we were here in season 28, but I'm sure he wants to do a lot better than that. He's had a few wins under his belt, but I'm sure he wants to add some other ones. He hasn't got a representative lap time on the board, but this gives us a great opportunity to take us on board a hot lap with Blizzard, who is going to make his way through the Casio Triangle to start his lap, though. Very interesting, unique set of corners as Will G has left the session. That is not good. But anyway, let's go on board with Blizzard. So you'll be following a DRS zone and going on to this front straight here, heading towards turn run. Huge downforce on these cars around here. Not as much as on the previous games, but now you're going to be heading towards the tricky S's between turn 3 to turn 7. If you get one bit wrong in the S's section, then it ruins your first sector completely. But it seems like Blizzard seems to be doing it not a problem. Now heading towards the Dunlop curb at turn 7. You need to pretty much stay level for more than a split second, and you're going to go to the first and second Degner here. He absolutely controls that. Usually when I go through the Dunlop curbs and the Degner curbs, I absolutely don't nail it at all. But Blizzard seems to make it look easy. Past the hairpin there where we see a few overtaking opportunities, and you'll be braking after turn tanking, and you're now heading towards Spoon Curve where we've seen quite a few people go wide in the parts and invalidate their laps. And I was a bit wide that Blizzard was going to do that, but luckily he's able to keep to the curves quite nicely, already pushing to the limits, finding the right limits to make sure he does not get invalidated. And now heading towards the infamous 130R. Remember, we saw Michael Schumacher take a brave move around there as well. Will we see someone take a brave move there as well? Asicone will probably move out the way on his lap, or maybe Blizzard will be given the toe. A bit of a slide coming through the final corner. So let's see what Blizzard could do. He goes fastest with a 127.797. Good benchmark time for him at the moment, but I'm almost certain he can find some more time, as I think we've got a few people about to finish their laps. But good lap time for Blizzard at the moment.
Yeah, I still think Blizzard could probably find nearly half a second in that lap when it comes to the end of the session. On board with his lap, it was quite interesting to actually see that he wasn't flat at Dunlop, so actually still a lot of time to gain, while the CRG compatriot has gone pole position at the moment. Engelman straight off a win at Canada. Confidence ever so high. He's on pole position at the moment with a 27.544. Alfa Romeo currently goes into second. On board with Juice now. Seems to be up on his time, not by as much as he'd probably like, but it's still a very solid lap time for the Red Bull driver. Coming up to 130R in the second. Yellow flags ahead. Let's make sure there is a few slow cars ahead of him, getting a little bit of a slipstream there, little cheeky. We haven't seen any of it. Car on the inside into 130R, and we're going into the final corner now. Hopefully no traffic and no sliding on exit like Blizzard. Coming up to the line and out of the final corner does come Juiced. What's he going to say? He'll be hoping to get onto the front row. Juiced goes second place.
There we go. So Juice has beaten his championship rival of Blizzard, which is what he wanted at the moment. But he's going to know that Benjamin is nipping at his heels in the championship. Orgiano went third fastest as well, also beating Blizzard. So Orgiano is having a great qualifying session so far. And look at how close this qualifying session is already. Absolutely incredible. The top 18 separated by 0.8 of a second. There's always certain drivers that really need to step up their game and have much better results. We've talked the likes of obviously Fede and obviously Orgiano as well, who hasn't scored many points this season. Obviously Mish in the Aston Martin, who's currently sitting in last place. I'm sure he would want a better season compared to obviously last season. Don't forget, I believe he actually won a race as well in the top tier, which was absolutely great to see. But I think he's probably going to go into the pits. Actually, no, he's not going into the pits, I don't think. So I know he's using his ERS, but he's running out of fuel. So we'll see if he takes these corners normally or whether he'll be going into the pits. But only driver yet to set a competitive lap time, and he hasn't got that long of the session still to go. He is going to commit to this lap then. Can he get off of last place as the Aston Martin driver? Not a bad lap time, 7th place, which is 0.4 off of P7. And just a coincidence, actually, both the Aston Martins setting exactly the same lap times, but with Fede setting the lap time first, he goes quicker.
Duncan, meanwhile, has gone into third position at the moment. He's got his championship rival in sight, and he'll be on the second row so far. Still a lot of time left in the session, of course. 5 minutes left, so everyone will still get another run in, but everyone's coming in now, it seems. Can't see too many people on a quick lap. Obviously, Aston Martin's coming in, Ferrari of Asicombe coming in as well. Me, a driver that I thought would be a little bit higher up at the moment is VSR Jordan. We've seen plenty of potential from him in the past, and 17th for the moment. I mean, to be honest, I'd expect him to be within the top 10, or, I mean, 11th could be a really good position for him going on the alternative strategy. So it'll be interesting to see what he can do, because it's all or nothing for him coming into the final run.
I think quite a lot of people are probably going to be aiming for the alternate strategy. They probably can read our minds on whether the alternate strategy could work. But if there's any safety cars, that can bring them right into the mix as well. And maybe they're not as threatened for the undercut as the other drivers are, so probably staying on the mediums will be best for them. And I'm almost certain that the hards are not going to be touched at all. We see quite a few drivers going into the pits. Now, Will G was on a lap, but unfortunately he has invalidated, so he has not set a lap time. But that makes everybody within a second of each other so far, with a few temps to find. Everybody will be on low fuel modes for their final run, so expect some of the drivers to go a few temps quicker. But even in F2, as I was watching earlier on as well, they weren't able to go that much quicker, and that allowed people near the front to stay at the front. So I wonder if the lap times that they set middle in the session is enough, or whether they'd be able to find that extra tenth of a second or two to get into pole position. I'm almost certain the likes of obviously Casper, Asicombe, Sam as well, Jordan will need to find massive amount of times just to get on the front row and get into a huge advantage. But everybody else should be able to find attempts that they need as well, as we got Fazilio down in 15th. He's the first driver on an out lap. He's going out earlier than usual, but everybody is leaving it a bit late to get on a lap. There's going to be some huge traffic, especially going into the final sector with a few minutes to go.
It's all about throwing caution to the wind now, really, isn't it? If you're within the top 8, I'd say you've set a comfortable banker lap time, and you'll be taking a lot of risks on this lap. It's all or nothing, essentially. You've set a good lap time, especially if you're Benjamin, Juice, Duncan. You're now pushing the boundaries and probably going over the boundaries a little bit to find that lap time as they all kind of emerge and filter out of the pit lane now. One concern I would have if I was the Haas of Facilio is potentially the traffic that he could come up against on his lap. He wants to if I was him personally, I'd be backing off a little bit now, because there's so many cars coming out. They're all on their out laps, and you do not want any dirty air, especially around Suzuka.
Yes, dirty air, I think it's probably the worst around Suzuka than it is on any other track, because you lose so much downforce in the S's as well, and that's where we tend to see a lot of people lose it in the races and in qualifying especially. So some people have done the right thing to really go out now, but there's still the likes of Casper, Daniel Koda leaving it a little bit late. So if I were them, I would go out now, because they are pushing it a little bit, but they probably want to be the last person across the line. So Facilio is about to start his lap. We also have a Ferrari about to just come out of the pit as well, and Casper just come out of the pit. So everybody is either out on their out laps or on a flight at the moment, as Will G is about to start his lap at the moment. Will he get a surprise result today as well? Obviously, Cornet made his F1 debut last week after being promoted from F2, got his first point in the F1 tier. He could have aimed for something higher, but he got involved in an instant, but he was still happy in the end to get his first points, showing that he definitely deserves to be in the top tier after his incredible performances in the tier below. But he's currently sitting 19th for now, but around Suzuka, it is not too bad for him to climb up. I'm sure he can find some more time. And don't forget, Slipstream is banned in all tiers at PSGL, so you're not allowed to give your teammates Slipstream in the qualifying. You are allowed to give each other Slipstream in the race, but if you're found to give Slipstream in qualifying, you will be penalised for it, as we've got, I think, everybody about to start their flies now. It is the calm before the storm, Cam, and we're just getting started.
Yeah, I'm on board with Juiced, and he is currently down on his lap time through Sector 1, and I've now hopped over to Benjamin very quickly. He's up by a tenth. Unbelievable, the downforce on these cars at the moment, and they are just chucking it in, and it looks so easy for us on the commentary booth. But I can tell you, when you're in it, it's pure perfection. It's the smallest of margins. As Juice is now coming up to the final corner, he's marginally up on his lap, but it's not going to be able to worry Benjamin as he kind of drifts out and through the final corner. What's it going to be coming up to the line for Juice so far this session? And he doesn't even improve. It's the exact same lap time, actually.
Wow, so it shows that he is consistent, like I was talking about earlier as well. I think we have two of the Williams cars coming across the line. I think Will G does not improve either. I think we got a McLaren coming across the line. Jordan has unfortunately invalidated, but I'm almost certain he's going to go again. We have a few Aston Martins coming across the line, and the checker flag has dropped, so Leo and Fede won't be able to make it across the line in time. Benjamin goes fastest at the moment with a 1:24.7.468. We got an Alfa Romeo coming across the line. Georges came out of nowhere to finish in P3. Who is next across the line? We got Asacombe, who had a brilliant qualifying last time out in Canada, can only manage 11. Let's see who's coming across the line next. We do have some yellow flags, which won't help anyone. I think we have an Alpine coming across the line, as Sam has unfortunately binned it in spoons, so that's unfortunate. What about Valters? Can only manage P6, but he doesn't improve on his lap time. We do have a Red Bull of Xander, P3, so we have a Red Bull 2-3 at the moment. I think Blizzard was on a lap time, but he's got a damaged front wing, so he's not able to improve. He's only going to start no higher than 8th position. Danielko can only manage 11th position, and we got Casper, who's pulling into the pits. What about his teammate Duncan? He is going through 1:30, but it looks like he has invalidated, but we will double check. Yes, he's slowing down, so he must have probably invalidated his lap. So I think that's it for qualifying, unless Will G could go any quicker. Nope. I think Will G's suffering connection issues because he's going again for some weird reason. Oh, nope. Oh, he's 8th. Okay. Interesting game. But it is Benjamin for the second week in a row. He finds himself in pole position. Don't forget he finished second last season in Japan in season 28 in the F1 tier. Like we said earlier, he's the favourite to win. Well, he slot his car in the best position. He could be on for his second race victory in a row.
Yeah, you touched upon it earlier, Jess. A lot of people struggling to actually improve on their final lap time when it comes down to the pressure, etc. And Duncan and Blizzard were two drivers that did fail to improve. Through Sector 1, both of them had a few moments, and to be honest, they were just well down on their lap time by the time they got to the Sector 1 split. So both of them have bailed. Blizzard in 9th. That is far from ideal for who's currently 3rd in the championship, while Duncan, he's within fighting distance. Juice is only a few ahead of him, and I'm sure he'll be keen to get a move on at the start of the race.
Yes, indeed. Watch out for turn 1 as well, which is infamous in terms of incidents as well, as we'll probably see a few people going wide to try and avoid that as well. And if you get a brilliant start, it should definitely help you. So I think we're just waiting for, I think we're just waiting for Fizillo to retire, and then we can get underway very, very shortly. But we'll go through your order anyway whilst we wait for that, as Benjamin is fastest by 0.2 per second to VSR Juice. Quite a big margin between P1 and P2, and we'll go through your rest of the order as the standings show up on our screen in a second. So it didn't take that long for us to blabble on a little bit there, but there we go. So we've got a Dutch 1-2-3 there, and we got a VSR 2-3 as well, but Benjamin spawned the party there to take it on pole position. Juice in second, Xander, who had his best qualifying result of the season, in 3rd. George is in 4th. Duncan in 5th. That's not looking good for the championship rival of Juice to be up there. He definitely wants better. Ogiana in 6th. Valters 7th. Will G with a good qualifying session in 8th. Blizzard in 9th. Mitch in 10th. They'll be starting on the soft compound tyres. Then we have Cornet, who's on the alternate strategy pole position. Danielko, Fazillo, Asacombe, Chiquita, Fede, Leo, Casper, Sam Corby, and VSR Jordan. They will get free choice of tyres. And the top 20 all separated by just under 0.7 of a second. That is the closest I've ever seen in quite a while, but that is F1 for you.
It's an unreal gap at the front, I must say. Benjamin, pole position by over 0.2 around Japan. And I've had a brief look at this there. It seems that all of his time, well, let's say basically all of his time was gained in Sector 1, which is, it's a very technical part of the track, and to be honest, a lot of confidence as well. Interesting to see, I think, in the race, as he potentially gone for a setup that's got more downforce compared to Juice. Let's see how he fares. The first few laps will be critical for Benjamin because he'll be wanting to get outside of the DRS zone so that Juice can't leech onto him for the rest of the race and potentially save his ERS to mount a challenge at the end.
Yes, indeed. We had some famous moments around Japan, which caused a little bit of controversy, actually. Senna versus Prost in 1989, where Prost originally won the championship, but then he got taken away from him, and Damon Hill winning the title as well. And Senna and Prost came in together again on the following year as well, and on the first lap as well, and that ended up Senna taking the championship too. So hopefully we won't have moments like that in the race. So before we head to the race, let's have a quick look at the track that the drivers are going to be facing here tonight. It is 5.8 kilometres long, 8 to the left, 10 to the right, and we only have one DRS straight, as we just talked about as well. And the first Formula 1 race, 1987, and I'm sure that we're going to be in for some epic action tonight. A few elevation changes at this moment in time, but without further ado, let's go into the action then and check what tyres everybody outside the top 10 is going to be starting on. And according to our graphics, we got quite a bit of a mixture. I thought everybody would be going on the mediums, but boy was I wrong. The only ones that are not on the mediums is Casper, who's on the softs. Sam Corby is on the hards. I can see why Casper is going on the softs, because he may want to get a little bit some overtakes done early, but if he doesn't get near where the top 10 is, it's going to be viable for the wrong strategy to happen. But Sam is going to go long on his hard stint and potentially go hard to soft. He thinks that the mediums, the soft strategy, will not work for him. And we've seen Sam going for strategies like this, which works very, very well, which got him on the podium a few times. Could he be his night? The hards are about a second slower than the soft, so it's going to be very, very tough, but we know what Sam's capable of, and he's chosen the hards for a reason. Let's see what he could do from 19th on the grid.
Yeah, two very experienced drivers there at the back of the grid, 18th and 19th, both of them going for a different strategy. Look, I think they potentially know what they're doing, or are they taking a bit of a gamble? They're out of position, they've got nothing to lose, essentially, have they? Both of them know PSGL like the back of their hand, and I'm sure they're out there today to have a good crack at it. Like, if something doesn't happen, it doesn't happen, but Sam could be relying on a late safety car which could make his race, and Casper, we just don't know. I mean, he's proven talent, there's no question in that, so it wouldn't be a surprise to me if he just made his way through the field, and Jordan behind is no slouch either.
Yes, I was speaking to Casper a few months ago, and he's taken a different approach since he left F1 Esports from the Renault team, and he's really in PSGL really just to have some fun. And if he gains positions then, and if he gets a good result, it'll be a bonus. And usually, if you have fun, you're more likely going to be enjoying yourself, and the pressure is off for him at the moment. But he's very, very close to be winning the Constructors. Obviously, Red Bull are leading that at the moment, but I think I'm almost certain he's going to be doing his best to help his teammate Duncan with the championship, and obviously help with the Constructors as well. So Casper is probably wanting to get some overtakes, and I feel we could see some overtake masterclass from him. Where could we see George's climb up the grid? He's currently in 4th, his best ever qualifying result in F1. And what about everybody else on the grid? Orgiano as well. Let's see where he can. The 5 red lights are on. Benjamin is on pole position here today for the Japanese Grand Prix, and we are underway. Let's see who gets the best start. It looks like it's quite even as Benjamin covers Juice off heading towards turn 1. Remember to watch out for that as they head towards the S's section. Looks like the front lot are doing okay so far, but Georges has already dropped his way down the grid. Duncan is all the way up into P4. Great start for him as well. Mitch is up into P10, just taken corner as well for Zillow as gained positions as well, and Sam Corby has already dropped down to 19th, so the hard tyres are not the best for him at the moment, but just watch for him at the end of the race. Casper's making a few ground as well by making his way up into P17, but so far decent start from pretty much everybody. Danico though has dropped down into P20, so I wonder if he's had a little bit of a spin in the first few turns that's put him down in this position. Not a good start from him, but brilliant start from our pole sitter.
Yeah, at the back of the grid, it was a little bit argy-bargy, but everyone has basically got through there clean. For Suzuka, I thought it was a very clean start, actually. I'm not sure if Danico does have damage, but he doesn't seem to be getting onto the back of Sam Corby quite as quick as I thought. So potentially he does have wing damage, which which sucks for him, to be honest, because it'll be really hard for him to get anything out of that race now. And he just continues to just drop back and back. But yeah, at the front, a very, very clean start to the race. It was George kind of lost out a little bit to Duncan. Meanwhile, Blizzard is on the move now, down the inside already of Will G, and he's up to 8th place coming out of the final corner.
He had a bit of a similar slide to what we saw in the qualifying session, so maybe he's not too confident with his setup yet around this final corner, but I'm sure he has more laps to make sure he nails that, so it's not a problem as well. As Will G is trying to fend off, as Will G's had a bit of a moment. He's made contact with a few cars. He's already dropped down the field, and I wonder if he's got damage. He's dropped down into P17 already. Jordan's overtaken him as well, and I'm almost certain Asacombe is going to overtake him too. Danico actually makes his way into the pit lane at the moment. Cornet is making ground as well, but we got to fight for the lead. Fight for the lead as Benjamin has dropped down into P2 as Juice takes the lead and Xander is in a P2. So we got a Red Bull 1-2. It's not the first time we've seen it in real life, of course, but they are playing the team tactics absolutely perfectly, just like Verstappen and Sergio Perez in real life. So Benjamin was definitely caught napping there, and Juice absolutely nailing that. I think Benjamin didn't know what they were up to at the moment, but Juice, your race leader, Xander, P2.
Yeah, I didn't quite catch that there, but I'm tempted to say, I don't know if you saw it, Jess, but I'm tempted to say that Benjamin made a little bit of a mistake potentially in sector 1 or 2, because both of the Red Bulls came flying past, and to be honest, I don't think there's any opportunity at the start of sector 2 or sector 1 where he's going to lose 2 positions unless he went wide. He's just got to settle into the race now. It's not get caught up with that mistake if it was a mistake, and just follow the 2 Red Bulls ahead, because he knows that he can definitely at least undercut one of them, because they both can't pit on the same lap.
Yes, we just seen the pit stop strategy pop up on our screen. Yellow flag in sector 1. That is one of the Ferraris again. And we just seen on the final corner there, Blizzard making another move past Valdez up into P7. Blizzard is having an almighty start to this race as well, already making ground. And I'm almost certain he's going to get past Orgiano as well. So Blizzard, watch out for him. He's going to be a huge threat in this race. You don't score points in qualifying, you score points in the race. And there was people in the chat asking on what the weather is going to be like for the race. We don't have any ideas in the commentary box, and only the drivers do, and the weather is set to approximate, so anything can happen at this stage as well. So Blizzard a few tenths off Orgiana at the moment, but everybody else is just being very stable within the 4-5 tenths mark. We've got quite a few position changes as well this race. We've got Blizzard that's gained 2, and also Fazilio, he's had a brilliant start as well to this race, up 3 positions. Leo as well, not where he wanted to be in qualifying though, but he's making the best out of the worst situation, and he's up into 13th place. Jordan's up 4 as well, but Will G down 11, Daniel Co down 8. They are the biggest losers so far. And don't forget, DRS is enabled this lap, so will we see some cheeky overtakes going into the Casio Triangle to enable that DRS to happen? We'll have to find out. And I'm sure Benjamin will definitely need a wake-up call. He wants this race victory so badly, and I think I'm so scared I might curse him, because I cursed him probably in the chat as well, saying, oh, he's probably going to get the race victory today. But he's still got a long way to go in 3rd place. He's still winning a few attempts at Xander. He was quicker last lap compared to Xander, so this could be his breakthrough. But again, the 2 Red Bulls, I think they're using each other with slipstream in the race. That is good tactics from them. Duncan a few tenths off of Benjamin. I don't know who's going to come out on top there. Much even on pace at the moment.
I must say, very impressive start to the Grand Prix for both Alfa Romeo drivers. They both deserve an enormous amount of credit, because, to be honest, they're both not used to being at the sharp end always, but at the moment they seem very assured, both of them, just comfortably sitting behind Duncan and potentially working as a team here. Looking through the field though, basically everyone's following each other in a DRS train now. The only person outside of DRS is Leo.
Oh, Blizzard! Sorry to cut you off. Blizzard was trying to make a move on the inside of Orgiano into the hairpin, but couldn't quite make it work. Orgiano's doing very well to defend that as they now head towards Spoon the curve. Orgiano is really holding its own here in Japan as well. Again, not scoring many points this season, but maybe Japan could be his breakthrough going into this to help him for the final few rounds of the championship then. And now, let's see, can we see some straight line speed? I think we're seeing a similar situation to what we're seeing with the Red Bulls in front to the Alfa Romeos. Georges and Orgiano are also working together to keep Blizzard behind. That's probably why Blizzard wasn't able to get the move behind. So brilliant work from the Alfa Romeo team as we got Valtters into the pits. Now that is an early pit stop for an undercut, so I wonder if he's got damage there. So we'll check its pit stop to see if he has. No, it is a strategy call there. He's gone not really early. I was not expecting him to pit this soon. Probably lap 8, lap 9 is what I was expecting. Those mediums are not going to make it to the end, so is he knowing something that we don't? Is there going to be rain at the end of the race? We don't know. We'll have to find out towards the end of the race, but will that trigger everybody else to pit? But if it's dry for the whole race, that is way too early to box for a set of mediums.
Yeah, I agree. I do think it's a bit early. But what do we know? We're in the commentary box for a reason, potentially. Blizzard is on the move, though, and he looks the most racy out of everyone, I must say. At the start of the Grand Prix, he did really use his ERS up, but he's now taking the opportunity now to get it back a little bit, and I wouldn't be surprised if he would be the first one to trigger the undercut off the front runners. I was personally thinking maybe the end of 7 at the earliest, let alone 5. It's a very brave decision. But I suppose Waters has potentially got nothing to lose. So we'll have to see. And at the end of the Grand Prix, we'll both say that it probably worked out and we know nothing. But anyway, back to the action. Juiced at the front he's sitting pretty, let's be honest. Zander behind with 44% ERS and Juice is just cruising at the moment. He knows that he's in the best place possible.
Yes, he's looking on course to be getting his 5th win of the season, as Georges also goes into the pit early as well. So there could be rain at the end of the race. We don't know, but it is, I think, according to some Jeffs in the chat, that I think we're seeing a full dry race. So who knows, the mediums could probably last longer than in the predicted. Remember Canada, where it was meant to last 19, 20 laps, it lasted about 6, 7 laps longer than that. So it shows what we know in terms of the F1 games, to be honest. Or is it the games telling us that it's a lifespan of this, but it's actually not, the game's lying. So maybe it is going to last 3 or 4 laps more than intended, and it could be the right strategy for them. But we're seeing that George has actually got ahead of Valdes in the pit stop, so it shows for him that the overcut has worked well for him. But Valdes was probably quite low down anyway, so it shows that George is quite good on pace in terms of Valdes. Don't forget, Valdes was another driver that got promoted from F2 into F1 earlier on in the season. He's had some stellar performances. Portugal came into mind as well, where he had a brilliant performance on his debut in F1 as well, where he's showing his own as well. And there's some races where you're not going to be good at every track, and you just got to experience life to the fullest and experience the life of quicker drivers in front of you. Daniel Coe gets his first time penalty of the session. 3-second time penalty, not huge overtakes, but here comes Blizzard into the Casio triangle. This is surely the move that he's looking for, to try and get past Orgiano. This is it, and it's before the pit stops as well. That is key. Blizzard is on a mission. He wants to get on the podium today after starting low, and this is what he did. Absolutely incredible stuff. That was timed to perfection, as a lot of the drivers are going into the pits for the mediums. Let's see where Blizzard comes out. Duncan is also in the pit. Both of the Red Bulls are staying out, and the Red Bulls are going to be losing to the double stack situation, so one of them will have to stay out. And oh, look at this. Georges has undercut them all, and like I said earlier, Cam, the undercut is definitely OP around this track. Valdes is ahead as well, so is obviously Will G, who's yet to stop. But yeah, Georges is having a good race for himself, but are those tyres going to make it? That's the crucial thing.
Well, I've just been on board with George and Waters for the last lap, and they were both up 1.1 seconds on their previous best time.
Wow.
So, to be honest, I think George could be in the net lead here. I mean, time will tell in a few laps' time. I'm not sure if they'll make it to the end of the Grand Prix. It's going to be very touch and go for the duos to make the end of the Grand Prix. But, I mean, I wouldn't mind being in first at this in the Grand Prix. And from then, you just got to look after your tyres. And, I mean, everyone else has got to try and get past you, I suppose.
I remember commentating on this guy last year as an F2 reserve, and the first race I ever commentated on, I said to myself, he was quick. And he definitely is. And even in the placement race to show why he deserves to be in the top tier, he absolutely nailed it as well. So to be honest, it wasn't really a shot when he got announced as an F1 driver for this season. He's really delivering and really achieving beyond my expectations. As VSR Juice goes into the pit, Sander stays out and sacrifices for his teammate, which is to be expected because obviously Juice is ahead in terms of the championship. So where is CRG George's as he comes across the line. It's going to be very close into turn 1, but it looks like Juice just has the edges there. Juice is your net race leader at this moment in time, but George's will have much warmer tyres and they would have got up to temperature very, very quickly. So watch out for Juice. If Juice makes a mistake, George will be back to pounce as well. Orgiano is in the pits, but he's down near in last place, so he's probably not had the best pit stop, but Juice is definitely on a mission and he had a brilliant pit stop there. Duncan is, I think, a net P3 right now with Valters a net P4, but we still got Xander and Benjamin in the picture. We don't know how the positions are going to end up after all this. We've got no safety cars so far, which is insane so far, but if there is, the medium runners could be on a huge task and they could be near the front, so we definitely do not know what's going to happen. So Xander and Benjamin then, they're probably fighting for P1 right now, but surely they got to go into the pits now, but they're going to have the most benefit towards the end of the race because they're going to have the most durable tyres. And here comes Xander, he's in, but Benjamin stays out. So obviously Xander trying to respond to his teammate and everybody else around him. Benjamin, I don't know what he's doing with the overcut there, but he probably thinks he's faster on the soft tyres compared to a fresh air mediums. We'll have to wait and see.
Duncan wasn't messing about, and quickly touching on Benjamin, I feel like it might be a case that Benjamin knows that he's been undercut now, and essentially, what can he do? He's just got to stay out for a little bit longer and just hope that his fresher tyres at the end of the Grand Prix will give him a big enough advantage, because he's already lost those positions, and if he pits now, what does he gain? Potentially nothing. Coming out of the pit, Xander has lost out massively, a net P2, and he's down to at least a net P6, I'd say, at the moment. And, I mean, Benjamin was behind him, so you can only imagine that he'd be in between him and the Aston Martin driver. But meanwhile, Blizzard as well has massively dropped off. I'm not sure what quite happened there, but nowhere near the leaders anymore. So he must have had an issue somewhere around his lap, and his car does look a little bit battered up, I won't lie.
Yeah, but does as well. Maybe he caught up in something. There might be floor damage as well. We don't have Taz this week, so we are not able to see if he has got some bit of damage that we can't see at this moment in time as well. It was a shame because Blizzard was looking very good at the start of the race as Orgiano is out of the race. And are we going to see a further safety car that we just talked about, which could bring the medium runners into contention? And maybe Benjamin may be having the best luck right now and hoping for a late safety car, which is probably not going to happen, otherwise it would have come out by now. But Benjamin comes in anyway onto a set of mediums, but we've seen with Xander how Xander's staying out will lose out massively. I'm almost certain that Benjamin is going to lose out quite a lot, but we'll have to wait and see. He's probably not going to lose out massively to Xander, but here comes the likes of Benjamin. I think he's going to be just ahead as Leo's out the race. Leo is out the race and he's binned it in the S's. Safety car. If Benjamin just went into the pits a lap later, he would have come out in the net race lead. That must have been going for him, but going for Leo as well after a great race last week. That is a retirement for him, a DNF, and he's not going to finish this race. But that means the ones on the mediums, are they going to go on to hards maybe, or are they going to go on to softs? I think we saw in F2 that I think the safety car came roughly about then, and they went on to the softs early, but I still thought it was too early, to be fair. But I didn't know if the tyres lasted. I don't have a clue. But will you get your first stop out the way? I would do if I were you, but I wouldn't know what tyres to go on to. That is going to be huge for the medium runners to get back into this race and potentially get the best result of the season. Watch out for Jordan as well. He could be back in this too.
Incredibly unlucky, I must say, for Benjamin. I mean, it's only a few seconds earlier was there a yellow flag you thought, well, there might be a safety car here, and then a few seconds later there is a safety car and you're out, and theoretically with hindsight you would have wished that you stayed out an extra lap. Looking a bit further down the grid now, like your massive losers must be Blizzard, Casper, etc. If I was one of them in the next lap while Jordan speeds in the pit race, he'll have to serve that. Yeah, if I'm Blizzard or if I'm Casper and I still come out miles down, I'd be looking at not this lap but potentially in the next lap or the next lap, going in and just getting a fresh set of boots, because it's so much fresher than everyone around you, and you're not really going to lose anything because of it.
So we've got a mixture of tyre strategies for the people that have just come into the pits then. So We've got Cornet, who's going very, very brave. I don't know if the tyres are going to make it, but fair play to him. He's got nothing to lose. He's joined F1 only recently, a few weeks ago, and he wants to go overly ambitious on the strategy, but you never know. It could work. He's on the soft compound of tyres. We have got Sander obviously just pitted. He's on the mediums. Benjamin's on the mediums. Fasilio, he is on the hard compound tyres. Fetty is on the hards. Jordan's on the hards. Asacombe has also gone brave, just like Cornet. He's on the soft compound tyres. Sam is on the medium compound tyres. Chiquita is on the soft. Mish is on the soft. And Danico is on the soft compound tyres. And I've made a note on how long these soft tyres are meant to last. They're meant to last 11 laps. We've got more than 11 laps to go of this Grand Prix, so it might just be the game telling porcupines that maybe the softs could possibly last longer than it should, or maybe they could be a two-stop race. I don't know. This has brought the strategy game wide open. We literally don't know who's going to win this race. Cornet will probably get the advantage on the top four, but going towards the end of this race, his tyres will be dying, and that will allow Juice and Georges to climb their way up again. Georges, I have to say, a massive gainer in this process. His pit stop was perfect. He got the undercut perfectly, and he was relieved that a safety car came. He's currently sitting in P2 right now, and he's looking on course to challenge Juice for the win. That'll be an amazing stuff in F1 right now, to see a maiden win from a driver who was in F2 last season.
I must say, I actually think it's a really good decision by Cornet. Essentially because he was on mediums, and a lot of the other medium runners have now come out of the pit lane as well, but they've gone on the hard compound tyres. Being on the softs, you're going to be at least a second quicker. We're saying they're going to last around at least 11 laps. We've got at least 2 more laps, I'd say, behind the safety car. So what we're then saying, you've got to do 13 to 14 laps. The fuel is going down and everything, and potentially it could be a very good choice by Cornet here. I think I'd rather take the gamble.
I think we saw quite a lot of people in F2 take the gamble as well. So I wonder if they were watching the F2 race and saying, hang on, maybe I could potentially do the same. You never know. And learning from their F2 compatriots as Danico. Oh, that is interesting. He's gone for the mediums. Now, don't forget, you have to be on at least one different tyre compound per race. He started on the medium compound tyres, then went on to the softs, then pitted onto the medium compound tyres. So he had nothing to lose from this situation. He was in the back of the grid anyway. So I would say that was pretty decent strategy from Danico, because he knows that he could have a better tyre wear on the medium compound tyres. So very, very good for him. I wonder if the likes of Will G could have done the same to go on to a fresher set of mediums potentially as well, or it does depend if they have any mediums left. I do not know, but the ones on the back could have gained a bit of advantage from that, but they decided not to take the gamble. Or maybe Mish thinks that, like Cornet, the softs will be very, very well equipped for the last few laps of the Grand Prix. We'll have to wait and see. So it's Juice that leads then, from Georges, from Duncan, Benjamin, Cornet, Xander, biggest loser I think out of everybody in that top few cars on the grid. Valters, Fasillo, Fetty, Jordan, there are your top 10 drivers. Jordan, don't forget, started near the back of the grid. I think he started last, he did start last. And now he's up into 10th position, and he's looking to score points to hopefully get closing in on his rivals like the Blizzard, Juice and Duncan. But obviously they're ahead at the moment, but we could see other drivers making mistakes. And Cam, safety car, it is in this lap. Let's see what Juice does in the restart.
In this lap, I thought that was a little bit early, but I must say, looking at Jordan, he still does have a 5-second penalty. I thought maybe he could have done that in the pits. I'm not sure. Maybe he thinks he could pull that gap by the end of the race, but flicking back to the front now, Juice is up his tyres as best as possible, and to be honest, I think he'll be going as late as possible as well. He won't be going till the line, I don't think. He has gone out of the final corner, drifting left and right. George has gone with him though. Very good reaction time by the Alfa Romeo driver. He won't be looking for a move down his turn 1, while everyone else, one by one, down his turn 1, and no one will be making a move as we restart the race.
Yeah, these next few laps is crucial. We're heading into the second half of the race now. We've done the first half with the safety car having a big factor in that, and now we're moving on to the second half of the race. Then Juice had nailed that restart perfectly, but it is Benjamin that's definitely pushing at this moment in time, as he doesn't have any penalties to worry about. And talking about penalties is not really a factor in terms of this track, because there's not many places where you can get a corner cutting penalty. Maybe Spoon and maybe the final corner heading towards the Casio Triangle. We don't know, but I think if people get penalties, then that's absolutely huge, because obviously not many people could get penalties, as Jordan has making ground as well on those hard tyres. Fair play to him. He's already up into 9th place, and he's got a few more hard runners ahead of him, plus some medium runners as well. So the likes of obviously Valters trying to overtake him will be a bit more of a challenge, but maybe he can try and get past Vasilio as well. Vasilio doing a great job in this race, but we know Jordan is quicker, so we can see if he could get that move. But like we said earlier, Cam, the dirty air is a massive factor around Japan. It's going to be harder for him. He just wants to stay a little bit further back at this occasion. Or would he close in onto the Casio Triangle, or would he wait until the DRS is activated? Because it's not activated yet. It will be activated soon. So maybe that is where we can see Jordan get the opportunity. And wow, Fede got past Casio Triangle and got past Sam. And we're also seeing the Mercedes, I think, of Casper trying to get past Sam as well. We got Blizzard and Mario. My, there's a huge midfield battle near the back here. This is PSGL legends fighting for every tooth and nail at the moment for position. And Blizzard, who had a good start to the race, is not sure why he's dropped off. He wants to come back. He wants to get some points. He does not want to lose out to Duncan and Juice in the championship. And he wants to get at least something out of this race. So he's going to do everything he can in his power to try and get the likes of Casper and Sam. But my oh my, that was intense. They almost gave me a heart attack, Cam.
Yeah, meanwhile at the front, Benjamin so nearly got past Duncan last lap, looking down into turn 1, down the inside. He could set him up perfectly into the final corner, and Cornet wasn't far behind either. They're all kind of having a little sniff at each other. They want that final podium places, but at the same time, they don't want to be losing the DRS to the front, who are sitting pretty at the moment. Look, both of them, 100% ERS for Juice. He is not worrying one bit. He's got everything that he needs at the moment to defend at the end of the race, if it comes down to that. While the others behind are just squabbling and losing a little bit of time to each other, and that's not a problem for him.
Yes, indeed. I think ERS, we haven't talked much about ERS going into this race as well, and I'm sure a lot of people were able to save some ERS going into the safety car period, and they're absolutely pushing now as well, as we've got the DRS enable sign showing up on our screens then. So this is going to be key then to making sure that they're saving their ERS and they're using it to perfection, as ERS is quite hard to save around here at this moment in time. I'm watching on board with Cornet at the moment. He's not gaining as much we would have liked, and the safety car restart did not help him a little bit. We thought he was going to breeze past the likes of Benjamin and Duncan, but it just shows how hard it is to overtake around this track. I know he's on the medium soft compounded tyres, but it's only 5/10 difference per lap, and with the dirty air obviously being a big thing as well, it kind of takes us back to a Monaco situation. I think 1992 with the likes of obviously Nigel Mansell and Ayrton Senna. We had someone on the fresher tyres who still couldn't get past the guy on the harder tyres. So we could see a similar situation with Cornet, unfortunately, but his tyres are going to be cooked by the end if he just not get past the likes of obviously Benjamin and Duncan. But still a long way to go for Cornet. He's got the DRS going into the Casio Triangle, so he could get the move then.
Looking further down the grid a little bit, we've got the PSGL legend Sam Corby, who we did discuss at the start of the race that he started on the hards. We thought it would be maybe a bit of an odd decision. Maybe he knew something that we didn't, but he's now on the perfect race tyre. He's on the mediums. In front of him, he's got hard runners, soft runners, and more hard runners. I think he could be a driver that could be gaining at the end of this race. He's on the perfect tyre with a few drivers in front of him where their tyres could potentially drop off, be slower, and he's tucking up to Fede now. He could be looking for a move down into turn 1 on the Aston Martin driver, around the outside potentially. He couldn't do this, could he, Sam Corby? If anyone could, he could switch back on the apex of turn 1, but it's been blocked by Fede. I think this is a battle that we could keep our eyes on for the rest of the Grand Prix.
Yeah, I'm almost certain that Sam would want to get the moves done ASAP in the Williams car, and I'm sure that obviously due to the tyre difference between the mediums and the hards, I'm sure Sam will be like, I want to get past now. But like we saw with the likes of Cornet, it is easier said than done. But he knows his strategy. He's one of the most experienced drivers on this grid, and obviously he's raced on PC as well. Recently made the switch to PC, and he knows what he could do there as well. And obviously that transition is quite difficult, but he is a PlayStation player at heart, and he's showing that why he is a PSGL F1 driver for so many years and why he wants to get involved in so many great battles, and he's going to try and do a good job and have a little bit of fun, as there was almost some slides going into Spoon Curb there. That was very close. Let's see who's closing up to DRS. Maybe Cornet this lap, or it could be Benjamin actually. We'll have to wait and see, but it is still Juice that leads this race, and it's still a big DRS train going up to P14 so far. The only one who's not on the DRS train is a disconnected car of Will G. I don't think Will G can join back in the session, which is a bit of a shame. I don't think anyone's going to brave it in the turn one. Cornet might do so now. Nope, he is not going to do so. We're going to watch the likes of Asacombe, Fede, Sam, Casper, Chiquita as well. Was very close to Casper on turn one as well. Could have got the move done there, but it would have been very risky indeed. So it's just a waiting game for some of these guys, and it's just a question of who will blink first.
Yeah, it's all settled down at the moment. I feel like a lot of the drivers are just trying to compose themselves for the final 5 or so laps, where I feel like everything's going to start kicking off. There could be fireworks everywhere. One place where I don't think there could be fireworks is P1, to be honest. I think Juiced has got enough in hand, and hardly using any ERS at the moment. He's leading the field, no threat at all. I feel like Juice could be in a world of his own this afternoon, but we'll have to see. This is Formula One, and everything normally happens, and I'm probably wrong, but we'll have to see.
Yes, Juice cannot afford to become complacent. We've seen that in F1 many times before on the PlayStation in PSGL, where we see someone in the lead, they look like they're comfortable, and I even seen it in F2 as well for the time I've been commentating, and boom, they just lose it. I remember seeing it last week as well, where someone started on pole. He had the lead for pretty much the majority of the first half of the race, and then he lost it. But there's probably Juice fans are probably going to hate me for saying this, but it is true. You can't afford to rest on your laurels, as Chiquita is having a nice battle with Casper, and look at it, it's the two PSGL Titans, Blizzard versus Casper, then side by side into turn one. This could be free of rest here, going on to the first part of the S's. It's going to be very, very tight. Fede is also in this as well. He's thinking, hang on, I could be in a lot of trouble here at this moment in time, but Chiquita is doing a great job so far. As I thought I saw someone that had a bit of an off there, but I think it was just Blizzard as well. But Blizzard is under huge pressure from Casper and also Mish as well. Blizzard has got to make sure he closes into these guys, because otherwise the ones who are on pretty much fresher tyres, a lot like Casper, could take advantage of this towards the end of this race when the tyres start to die out. But that was almost a move, but they didn't want to risk it. But I have to say, for all these guys in F1 today, the racing has been impeccable. Huge respect to all the drivers. There hasn't been any issues. I think the only retirements that we've had in this race is people spinning it by themselves. Everyone else has been having real tour racing. It's been incredible. Look at this. We got Casper, who's having a move with Mish, I believe, as well. Mish almost got the move done on Casper. I have to say, Casper's now going to try and close in on the two CRG Blizzard. Well, formerly known as CRGs, now Blizzard at this moment in time. But they're still allowed to have CRG in their gamer tag, of course, to represent a team that is legendary in our hearts, of course. But we saw Mish trying to go for a late lunge into the Casio triangle there, and he clips the curb a little bit there, and because of that, the game rewards him with a 3-second time penalty. Well, it punishes him, not rewards him, and that will allow probably Casper. There's a little bit of a love tap there going into turn one, and I think Danico is saying, if you can't get the move, maybe I could get the move done as well. As Danico goes off the track, we do have a yellow flag. That is Mish that goes for a bit of a spin. He has left the session, probably in disgust, unfortunately, but Danico has jumped both of them. And I think, Cam, you're on mute if you're trying to speak.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
That's a little bit there. I was saying that Casper and Michi at the back, they came together at turn one, both had a little bit of a spin. But meanwhile, last lap, Sam Corby around the outside of Fede at turn one, really impressive move. And was actually struggling to get within DRS of the drivers in front, because he just missed the detection zone by a fraction. But he's now back within a second of the drivers in front of him, and he's looking at the top 10 and potentially some points from this race.
Yeah, I think a lot of drivers could get points in this race as well. I'm almost certain Sam's going to get points because Jordan has got a time penalty looming that will be added to the end of this race as well. Asako, we're not sure if his tyres are going to get to the end of this race as well, but he could be under huge threat. And whoa, Jordan went a little bit wide here. He could lose his chance out for points. This could be Asako's chance to get P9 off the VSR driver. Asako, who's had a good qualifying last time out, could be on for a huge result. Juice has been pressured by CRG Georges. Georges is your race leader. Can't believe I missed that, unfortunately, but we did see the likes of Blizzard fighting as well. Georges is your race leader. Juice in second, Duncan in third place. I didn't think I'd be saying that in the PSGL F1 race. Georges is leading a race. I have to say, he's been the star of this tier so far. His performance has been impeccable as well, and he's been able to take it to the top guns, the likes of Juice, Duncan, and Benjamin as well. Benjamin's back in this after obviously he got unlucky with the safety car. He's now back up into fourth position and can definitely fight for this as well. And I think we see a few people cheering on for George in the chat as well, so that is great to see. But George's, I have to say, what an amazing stuff. It looked like he got the move into turn one as well, so he was using the DRS and it looked a clean move for me as well. And I wonder if Cornet's going to try for a similar move as well. Their ERS is starting to deteriorate very rapidly at the moment, so I think they're going to be in danger to try and lose it onto the straight as well then. So I wonder if Cornet would start to use it on the start of the straight as well. He's closing onto Benjamin, so we could see a similar move to what we saw with Georges. And I'm keeping an eye on Juice to see if Juice can get the move done on Georges, but I don't think he's going to do so, as Georges sets the fastest lap of the race. Incredible from the Alfa Romeo driver. Star of the show, I think.
He's taken the fastest lap away from Duncan, who will be happy but also not happy because he's taken that fastest lap away, so that's an extra point that he hasn't got. But at the same time, he's very happy that he's been able to get past Juice, and now in front of him he must be licking his lips because championship leader Juice, there is no cars separating the two. And to be honest, I feel like if there's a chance, I feel like Duncan will be trying to get a move as soon as possible because he's got to gain a lot of points now, but there's only 5 rounds to go, and the points aren't going to make themselves up at the end of the day. But Benjamin behind him is ready to capitalise on anything that may happen ahead as well.
Yes, I think Benjamin has got a perfect box seat for this battle as well. I think we've seen in the past people that are fourth place just climb their way up into like third or something because of this, and it just definitely helps people more than not. So watch out for him. Just because he's in fourth, that doesn't mean he'll not get a podium as well. He could be on for his second podium in a row around this track, which makes him probably one of the most successful drivers in Japan in terms of this grid in the last couple of seasons. And he's not close enough yet, but I don't think he wants to be in the dirt yet. But I think we could see a battle for the lead, which we do not want to miss this time. I felt going missing the last few battles this time, but we are going to see it once again with the likes of Juiced and Georges. He is very, very close this time. This could be the move, surely, but Georges has closed the door. He's saying, no, thank you. You're not getting P1 from me, thank you very much. Who cares if you're the championship leader? You're staying behind me, as Georges is your race leader once again. I have to say, he closed that door very beautifully as well. Benjamin almost made the move past Duncan, but Duncan made a similar move and he closed the door on him as well. So we're starting to see some defensive moves for England at this race so far, and everybody from first all the way down to 13th is still on the same DRS train. It shows how even the paces of the top 13, 14, literally any one of these drivers could win this race. That's how close it is.
Yeah, further down the grid as well, I must say Blizzard it's a good recovery drive at the moment. He's in P12. We're talking about Jordan's 5-second penalty, potentially P11. He could be looking at some points still after what was an error earlier in the race. But yeah, back to Juiced and Duncan and Georges. I was thinking a minute there, Red Bull versus Mercedes. Where have I seen that before this season? I'm not sure. Who knows? But at the moment, one Alfa Romeo leading, which we don't always see. And Georges is a very mature driver at the moment. Juice could be lining up a move here on the back straight, but he wasn't keen to go past on the last lap. I really do think he could have gone past if he wanted, and he's potentially further away now. Let's make sure that he doesn't use too much of his ERS as well, because George is only on 60%. And yet again, he he backed out of that move. He didn't even want to go past. So I feel like potentially he's using George to defend from Duncan, and it's only a matter of time until Juice goes past in the final few laps.
Because Duncan is Juice's championship rival. He doesn't, to be honest, Juice doesn't care if he loses out to George's, because if Juice stays in second place, he will be extending his championship lead. But I'm almost certain that Juice wants to be vying for the win. I don't have a clue, but sometimes you would take P2 any day. In terms of the championship, in terms of obviously race results, rather than obviously fighting for P1 and then maybe getting into a crash or something like that. So I wonder if Juice is staying a bit cautious, but I'm almost certain with the moves he's making, he's definitely not. But I'm a bit surprised that he's not going for the move like in the Casio triangle. That is the only moves I would say, and maybe the hairpin as well, is where you can get an overtake done. Turn 1 is quite hard to do an overtake, but explain that to George's earlier on. Explain that to the likes of Juice earlier on as well. They made the overtakes done and stick, so maybe with Juice doing it earlier on, he thinks he could do it again, but I wonder if Juice could read my mind, because he is closing in onto George's this lap past 130R and into the Casio triangle then, but again, he's a little bit too further back. He's gaining a bit on cornering speed as well. Maybe that's where he's gaining on George's, and I wonder if the DRS is helping him in a minute. So Juice is using he was using the overtake, and you can see George's has taken a different line so far. George's doesn't want Juice to have any slipstream at all, and that is very great tactics from the Alfa Romeo driver. Juice did not know what to do there at this moment in time, but we know Juice is smart. Maybe he'll do something different next lap as well, so possibly the opposite. I don't have a clue, but still no overtakes. Yeah, this may go down to the final lap. You know, we could see a huge amount of overtakes on lap 26, lap 27, I would say. And you're mute again.
I haven't muted anything. It just does it by itself, while Benjamin gets a second time penalty.
Oh no.
Huge consequences, I'm not going to lie. He could drop Bell well down the order here. Meanwhile, for George's and Juice, I was actually on board with Juice, looking backwards. I know, probably should be looking forwards, but he actually disabled his DRS well before turn 1, and his DRS off. He's more than comfortable sitting behind George's at the moment, and I think he knows that he's got a lot to lose. He's in the championship lead. He's got Duncan potentially behind him. He's got everything to lose. And what does George have to lose? Nothing. He's had a P2 this season as George. He's keen to get a P1. He'll be looking for the final lap, Juice, I think.
Oh, here comes Benjamin! Benjamin makes slight bit of contact on Duncan as well. That's probably music to Juice's ears at this moment in time. But Benjamin is looking for a podium here tonight. Well, lap 25 or 27. 3 more laps to go of this Japanese Grand Prix. This could be the move that Benjamin is looking for here as well. Benjamin nails it! Benjamin nails it! He's up into P3 of this race, but he will get P4, I think I'm almost certain, due to the time penalty that is looming on him. But he got the job done, and he's going to try and get rid of that deficit. Juice does take over George's lead at this moment in time as well, whilst we were seeing that as well. So we're seeing 2 moves in the space of a few corners, which was great to see. And Juice eventually got the move done into turn 1 on George's. So I think George's was doing something either the same or completely different, and that allowed Juice to say thank you very much. That is my P1 there at the moment. But I'm looking on Juice's ERS. He's on 80%. I don't know how much ERS he's using, but his ERS management is pretty much spotless. George is on 62%. I don't know how they're using the ERS at the moment, but obviously there's not many places to overtake, so you wouldn't be using it that much. That's why ERS management is very, very important. And obviously George is now 4 attempts behind Juice at this moment in time as we get towards the final few corners, and we head to at the start of lap 26 as Juice maintains the lead so far. But we could see some penalties from any one of those drivers that could decide the outcome on this race. Juice is pushing now. He's got some clear air in front of him at 130.179. He gets the fastest lap of this race. And if you're inside the top 10 and if you get the fastest lap, you do get a fastest lap point, as we're seeing midfield battles all over the show. Cornet's dropped down to 9th place. I do not know what's happened for him. Or maybe his tyres have probably gone busted. I don't know. But I think we are starting to see the soft runners struggling a little bit. Maybe the soft runners have made the wrong decision. Jordan is up into 8th place, but again, he also has a time penalty. Sam Corbet could be up into 9th place, and he could get past Cornet too Asicombe is into 11th place as well. Casper, unfortunately, he's in the pits, but he wants to try and get past his lap and steal that point away from Juiced.
I feel like, reflecting on that last lap, that little battle at the front, a little bit of me says that potentially the top three could be in a party together. We see Benjamin a time penalty and then suddenly go past Duncan as soon as possible. And could he potentially be helping out George? Well, that was what he was trying to do. But Juiced, looking in his mirrors, sees the two behind battling. Duncan, his championship rival, in the mud. And Juiced is taking the opportunity to go past George's as soon as possible and now stretching his legs. Juiced has used nearly 40% ERS in this lap, and you said last lap his ERS management has been impeccable, so he is really pushing now. He's trying to build a gap, and we're entering the last lap of the Grand Prix.
And again, he just sets another fastest lap. What could possibly go wrong for him? Juice is doing absolutely amazing. We just saw Sam Corbet go for the move, and Basilio goes for a move for P6. He could be on for an amazing result here as he gets past into turn one absolutely perfectly. Valters had nowhere to go, unfortunately, and the Haas driver was like, thank you very much. That was my position gained as well on the hard compounded side as well, which probably was the crossover point. Even though Basilio, I'm looking at his ERS at the moment, he's almost running out. So if he was able to do the move like that with low ERS compared to everybody else on high ERS, that was absolutely crazy. We saw Sam Corbet get past Cornet, so Sam is up to 9th. I wonder if he's going to get past Jordan as well. We'll have to wait and see. We got quite a bit of a train forming again for the race lead, but I think it could change. I'm looking at George's ERS. He's on 6%. He wants that race victory so badly. Cornet wants that point so badly as well as he gets is being pressured by Fede into Spoon Curve. Who said you can't overtake it? Well, Fede has just proved us wrong. He's up into P10 and he could be on for points, but again with the penalty, Cornet had a slide going through Spoon, and the most important thing that Juice is doing right now, he's on the pace and he's broken DRS. Benjamin and Georges, this could be the fight for P2 on a track at least through the Casio Triangle. That was absolutely superb, but let's go on board with Juice. He wins in Japan to take his 5th win of the season. Georges takes P2. Benjamin takes P2 on the road, but he drops down to P3. Duncan in 3rd, Xander 4th. A brilliant result for him, I have to say. Benjamin 5th, Facidio 6th, Valter 7th, Sam 8th, Blizzard. What could have been for him? Shame that he didn't replicate that start that he had for the rest of the race, but still, point to the point. Cornet also finished in the points as well in a 10th position, and obviously we got Attico and Fede. They failed to score any points. They were so close, but Jordan missed out on getting 12 by just 4 1/100ths of a second. That was insane. But Juice once again extends the championship lead, and still he's looking like the favourite to win. He's just showing what Wilson Hughes showed last season, his consistency, and I'm not putting him past at this point, but you can't become complacent even though you've won like 5 races this season. So he's got to keep on delivering for the final few races. But the pressure, I would have to say, is not really much on Juicer for the final few races. I have to say it's on his championship rivals Duncan and Blizzard.
Yeah, Juice has been unstoppable at the moment. I like the celebration on the podium as well. Spraying the champagne. He's been unstoppable so far this season, and we've still got 4 rounds to go. But at the moment, consistent podiums will do for him. It doesn't matter if Duncan wins the next 4 races, potentially. As long as he's second, that's enough. I think someone did nick the fastest lap off him.
I think it was Casper. I think it was Casper, because I know Casper pitted to go for fastest lap, but I will double check in a second. So here are your results for the Japanese Grand Prix for F1. Juiced takes the win once again with Georges in 2nd, Duncan in 3rd position, Xander in 4th, Benjamin in 5th. I have to say, Fasilio from P13 to P6, incredible performance from him. Valters stayed where he was in 7th, Sam from 19th to 8th. Recovery drive and a half for him. Brilliant job for him. He made his strategy work. And Blizzard and Cornet round up your top 10 and point scoring positions. No one gets the fastest lap because it was scored by, I think it was Casper outside the top 10. So we got Asicombe, Fede, Jordan, and I missed out on the rest of the grid, unfortunately, because, yeah, I didn't say it all in time. But what a race. It was quite quiet towards the middle half of the race, but towards the end it got absolutely spicy. between our two, obviously the two Juice and Georges, and also Benjamin and Duncan as well. And this is what PSGL is all about as well. And Benjamin can still even be in this championship fight if he keeps up the performances like this. I know he wants to win, but he got P2 on track. I think he'll take that.
Yeah, I was about to say that about George. I think every driver wants to win the Grand Prix, and they're not happy unless they are. But I think he deserves an honourable mention today because it was a stellar drive. And as well, I think Sam Corby kind of stood out a little bit. We were talking about him at the start of the Grand Prix on the hard compound tyres, but at the end of the day, his experience came through in the end and got some valuable points for the team.
Yes, indeed. Hopefully we'll get some of our drivers, pretty much all of our drivers, in for post-race interviews at this moment in time in the rating room. Georges has already asked me that question on whether we're having interviews, so don't worry, Georges. We are at this stage, so Juice will be extending it. Obviously, he gets 16 points for a race victory. He was on 106 points going into the Japanese Grand Prix. He will be on a massive 122 points, which I have to say is remarkable at this stage of proceedings. And I have been looking, obviously, at the F1 standings from last year. They're going to be so close in almost top in those standings as well, which shows how dominant Juice has been pretty much all season. Like I said, the only race where Juice has failed to score any points at all is round 1 in Bahrain. Every other race he scored points, and we thought the Juice will be out of it. We thought the Juice will be in the mud in round 1, but he's showing that you do not give up just because you don't get points round one. Same with Duncan as well. Duncan didn't get any points in the first round, but he's still second in the championship. So great to see. So I'm just actually trying to get these people in the interview room now. So let's see. Do we have anyone? We do have. I'm just trying to see if we can have our race winner, but we don't. So we'll get our. We may as well get our second place man in the commentary booth as well. So Georges, hello. You definitely put a valiant fight for the race victory at this moment in time. You just missed out, but that was an exceptional performance. Talk us through how you feel about after that race. Oh, he's gone. He is gone. I was talking to a brick wall. Let's see if I can get him again. Georges, can you hear us?
Hello.
Can you hear us, Georges?
Yes, I can.
Yes, finally. So there we go. I will repeat the question again. Probably you didn't hear it. Second place for you. You were fighting with Juice throughout the entirety of the final stint. You had the lead for one brief moment. Talk us through how you felt about that, because that you've equalled your best result in PSGL there.
Yeah, it's been an up and down race, to be honest. I was testing some stuff with the electricity with my wheel for FPS, because when I drive cockpit cam, I have very low FPS. So I was actually quite surprised that I was able to keep up. But yeah, at the end, I just lost a bit of my tires because I pitted like 2-3 laps earlier. Yes. So I had the tire indicator go up, like with 2 laps to go. So yeah, the grip dropped off.
Yeah, so that probably explains why Juice was able to get the move on you into turn 1. What was the decision in doing the undercut and pitting way earlier than we thought it was going to be? Because we thought that there was no way you was going to get your tyres into the end, and we thought you were going to get a puncher, but you managed to get to the end there. Talk us through why you pitted when you did.
Yeah, so in practice, basically, I was good on wear, surprisingly. So I knew I could manage the tires even if I pit earlier than the others. But also, to be honest, before the race, I didn't intend to pit on lap 5. But then, Japan is basically a DRS train, and you could see like Duncan trying to overtake Benjamin in front. So I knew that if I'm gonna pit 1 lap extra, I think a lot of people would have entered as well. So I decided to go a bit early in order to undercut the whole train, and at the end it paid off. Youth came out just right in front of me, so yeah, happy with the decision.
Yeah, and with that safety car as well, that probably gave you a little bit of a shock as well when that came out. Did that change your whole procedure? Because you saw people on the softs as well. Were you a bit worried that were they able to catch you and overtake you, or did you think that obviously the softs were going to die out and you were going to hold position? Because it must have caught you off guard there with that safety car.
Yeah, so the safety car wasn't really ideal, but to be honest, I was kind of hoping for Benjamin and Duncan to try and hold up Cornet behind, because I knew if they could manage to hold him like 4 or 5 laps, then there was no way he could overtake us all. So that went to plan, and worried at first, but then was quite relieved with Benjamin and Duncan staying in front.
Yes, Cam, do you have any questions for our second place man, Georges?
I was just going to say that's 2 second places this season. Potentially a win by the end of the season. What do we think? What's the aim?
Well, now that I sorted the issue that weren't in my hands, I really hope to be pushing for more podiums and wins. It's been 4 races where I honestly didn't have any problem, and out of these 4 races, I have 3 podiums now. So I really hope to continue the momentum until the end of the season.
Brilliant. And heading obviously we have another break week, but after that we head to Mexico as well, a track where in comparison to Japan gets you a lot more penalties than Japan, of course, and it's quite a difficult track. Do you like that track, or do you think that you are going to put in a lot of work to try and be up near where you are today?
I think I should put a lot of work, to be honest. Last time I did Mexico was on a pad with ABS back in 2020 at the early stages of the cycle. So it's going to be interesting how it goes, but I'm sure I have plenty of time to get to grips with the setup and the track.
And with that performance today, I'm almost certain that a win will be coming soon. Even if it's not this season, maybe next season as well. But I hope it's this season. Just saying. Anyway, congratulations, Georges, on your P2. And best of luck in 2 weeks' time when we head to Mexico.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you.
Right, let's move on. I think I'm just trying to remember who finished third. I think it was Duncan that finished in P3. So we are going to have a little bit of a talk for him. We always save the winner to last. I always like to say the winner to last. I don't get this luxury in F2. There's usually one person that likes to speak and that's it. But we got all 3 drivers in. This is going to be great. So let's get Duncan in and into the commentary booth. Duncan, you got another P3 there in your midst there at the moment. Talk us through how you felt with that one, because obviously you had Benjamin chasing you on the final few laps as well, and a huge DRS train. Was that what you were expecting?
Yeah, definitely. Of course, I know this is maybe Benjamin's best track on the calendar, so I knew he would push me, maybe to force me into George or overtake me. And I just tried to keep him behind me, and then he got a penalty. So I didn't want to risk it too much and just let it through. Didn't want to fight it too hard.
Fair enough, and I think that probably was better for you, instead of obviously fighting it too hard and maybe losing it or something like that. Something you got to keep it consistent as well. So you're still pretty much gaining on your nearest. Obviously, Yam gained on Juice, but you gained on the likes of Blizzard and Jordan, who scored points but not as many as you would have liked as well. Was that playing in your mind, knowing that your rivals behind you weren't scoring many points today?
Yeah, of course. Also in the pits, I think Blizzard pitted at the same lap as I did. And then on the pit exit, I saw that he spun around. So that actually gave me quite a good feeling. I mean, it's really unfortunate for him, but it's really good for the championship in my perspective. And I mean, Joost, he was 2 cars ahead of me. And it just would have been really hard to overtake him in this race.
Yeah, but to be honest, sometimes a P2 or P3 is better than obviously losing it as well, and that could really help you in the long run, because like we said earlier, consistency is key. So anyway, Cam, do you have any questions for our third place man, Duncan?
Yeah, I was just going to touch upon the championship there briefly. Juiced obviously extends his gap just a little bit now. I obviously think that you still believe you can win the championship, but do you think do need a little bit of luck now with the gap that Juiced has, potentially a DNF or something for him in the coming races if you are to win the championship?
Yeah, of course, it would be a lot easier if Joost parks his car somewhere in the wall or something. But
All championship
yeah,
rivals are saying that.
yeah, I mean, he's a really good friend of me, but still, I want to win as well. And but I mean, next couple of tracks, especially Baku and USA, are one of my favorites. So hopefully, I can score some good points there.
Yes, we will be going to those tracks very soon, but before that we go to Mexico, which is a little bit of a Marmite track if you ask me. What do you think of that track? There's a few people that don't like it. Where are you under that spectrum?
I think I'm somewhere in the middle. I mean,
Fair enough.
especially it's really easy to get penalties, so that's always yeah, really really unfortunate. But yeah, I mean, I haven't really done it this game, so maybe it suits me really well.
In it as well, and I'm sure that extra break week will help you a little bit recharge and able to practice once again. So congratulations on another podium. Let's fingers crossed you maybe get another podium or even a win next time out when we head to Mexico. Congratulations, VSR Duncan, you're P3 man. Well done.
Thank you, thank you.
And now we're going to talk to the man of the hour, the driver that has added a 5th win to his tally then. It is the man, the myth, the legend. It is VSR Juice. Congratulations on that win in Japan, but you didn't make it look easy. You had to work with it with the likes of obviously Benjamin and also the likes of George's fighting for the win there. How do you feel for adding the fifth win to your belt and extending your championship lead?
Feels very good. I think I controlled the race pretty good. It's very easy to make a mistake, like what Benjamin had. He had a big slab of oversteer in the first sector, and the curves were very tricky. So didn't push that hard, otherwise you will make a mistake easier. But try to hold my ERS and keep a gap to George's and Sander in the beginning.
Yeah, that's probably what I was thinking as well, because there were certain times where I feel like you were keeping it cautious, knowing you had the championship on the line and you didn't really want to score, take too many risks. But the final few laps, I have to say, was quite intense. You got the move done on George as well. He was explaining to me that his tyres weren't the best there as well. You pitted a few laps later than George's. Do you think that was the key to winning, with you having the fresher tyres compared to your rivals?
Yeah, I think so. Also, had to make a move because Benjamin and Dungo are battling very hard behind me. So I want to go for safe and go past George's. So I don't want to go in that battle. And I knew I had fresher tires and more ERS, so I had to keep the gap after Spoon. It's very easy to get close with the slipstream, but happy to get the gap over the seconds.
Yeah, as well, especially with a track that's so hard to overtake in as well, and you made it look easy in certain places into turn one, and I thought after 2 or 3 attempts you would give up, but I know with the F1 drivers here, you would not give up to try and get that move, so you executed that perfectly. Brilliant job for you. And Cam, any questions for our race winner?
Yeah, I'm not sure if Juice can hear me because I can't hear him, but I'll ask the question anyway. And if
I can hear you.
I just wanted to say that we kind of monitored his ERS usage the whole of the Grand Prix. Was he potentially holding something back for the end of the Grand Prix? Because it seemed like 2 laps to the end, he used all his ERS, went full beans, and basically then built a gap so that he won the Grand Prix.
Yeah, it's very difficult to save your ERS if you are leading because you have no slips in your DRS. So I think saving is impossible. So you have to hold your ERS above the 90%. Otherwise, you can't save it back. So I was just driving with the ERS. So I keep a lot of ERS for the end of the race because previous season with Sparks, with Wilson and Benjamin, I didn't do that, and then I got overtook in the last lap by 3 people. So I think I learned from that.
Yes, I think you definitely did, which probably helped you tonight as well. And obviously we got a break week as well, and you're going to probably, hopefully, carry your momentum into next week. Well, not next week, the week after when we head to Mexico. We've seen a few people saying there in the middle. We have some people say that they hate the track. What do you think about this track? Do you think you're going to potentially get another win, or do you think you will be satisfied with just getting a podium in Mexico?
Didn't drove it this game, but previous game I really liked the track. I was pretty good. I got my first win on that track in PSGL. So
oh, memories.
yeah. So I don't know yet, but I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to seeing you on the track as well. Maybe potentially you adding another win to that. You never know. So we will let you go and celebrate with the champagne and all that, or a drink, depending on your age. And congratulations to Joost, our championship leader and our race winner for the Japanese Grand Prix. Well done.
Thank you.
Right then, so we are going to wrap up the stream here, folks. Thank you so much for listening to the F1 stream for PSGL. It was the final tier of the night, and it was definitely worth the wait. So don't forget, we've got a break week on the PlayStation side, so we will be having no streams next week. But the week after, like we said earlier, we head to Mexico for the Mexican Grand Prix, a track where I have to say produced quite a few drama and lots of great battles there as well, so it should be very exciting. And we should have Mr. Luke Etheridge and Mark Alimonda back in the commentary box then, so they'll be very excited to be back and covering the action as well. But if you want some more Japanese Grand Prix action, we got the PC tiers racing in Japan this week as they end their break week from last week, and will be continuing this week. So it'll be PCF3 streaming at 7 p.m. UK time on Wednesday, and on Thursday we've got Mr. King Kodiak and Jacob Aladar will be covering the F2 tier at 8 p.m. Thursday, so make sure you check that out. And of course we got the other PlayStation tiers that just done Japan, and if you want to watch those back, they're on the PSGL YouTube channel. Don't forget to click the subscribe button, turn notifications on with that notification bell, and hit that thumbs up button as well. We're very close to 12k subscribers, which I have to say is absolutely insane. So hit that subscribe button and share this stream out with your friends. That will be amazing. And thank you, Cam, once again for joining the F1 commentary box. You've been a pleasure to commentate with us always. And we will see you in 2 weeks' time, whatever tier that you decide to watch for the Mexican Grand Prix. We'll let you enjoy the rest of your night. Goodbye.